When someone says a person is 6 feet under, everyone knows what it means. It is one of the most common phrases connected to death. It sounds official, almost like a rule that has always existed. But here's the strange part. Most graves today are not 6 feet deep at all. So where did that number come from? And why did we move away from it? The answer involves plague, panic, hard manual labor, changing science, and the modern world rethinking how we return to the earth. Where the 6 feet idea began. The idea of burying bodies 6 feet deep is often traced back to 17th century England. During one of the darkest times in its history, the Great Plague of London in 1665. At the height of the outbreak, fear ruled everything. People did not fully understand how disease spread. Many believed bad smells, called miasma, carried illness through the air. To try and control the situation, London authorities reportedly ordered that graves be dug at least 6 feet deep. The thinking was simple. A deeper grave might trap odors from decaying bodies and reduce the chance of animals digging them up. It was not based on modern science. It was a desperate public health measure created during a time of mass death and limited knowledge. Even so, the idea stuck. Over time, 6 feet deep began to sound official, even though it was never a universal law. As British tradition spread, so did this burial belief. The reality of digging graves. There was just one problem. Digging a 6-foot grave by hand is extremely hard work. For centuries, graves were dug using shovels and pickaxes. Grave diggers faced rocky soil, tree roots, groundwater, and physical exhaustion. Reaching 6 feet every single time was not always realistic. In many places, graves were dug to whatever depth was practical and safe. In firm, compact soil, a shallower grave could still protect the body from animals and prevent surface problems. In other areas, digging deeper was nearly impossible without flooding or collapse. So while 6 feet sounded like a rule, actual burial depth often depended on soil conditions, tools, and human strength, not a strict measurement. Why modern graves are often shallower. Fast forward to today, and burial practices look very different. In many modern cemeteries, graves are commonly around 3 to 4 feet deep to the top of the casket, sometimes deeper depending on local rules. The exact depth varies by country, state, and even individual cemetery. One big reason is space. Land is limited, especially in cities. Cemeteries must use their land carefully. In some places, double-depth graves are used, where one casket is placed above another with proper separation. This would be much harder if every burial had to start at a full 6 feet. Environmental concerns also play a role. Green burials are becoming more popular. These use biodegradable materials and avoid embalming chemicals. Shallower graves can help natural decomposition happen more efficiently, allowing nutrients to return to the soil. In this case, depth is not about hiding the body. It is about working with natural processes. What science says about burial depth? Decomposition is driven by microbes, oxygen, moisture, and soil conditions. Very deep graves can have less oxygen, which can slow natural breakdown. Shallower graves, when done properly, can allow for healthier soil activity and more natural recycling of organic material. Modern burial methods also make old fears less relevant. Coffins, burial vaults, and cemetery maintenance reduce the risk of animals disturbing graves. Public health knowledge has improved, and we now understand that properly handled burials do not spread disease in the way people once feared. In other words, 6 feet is no longer seen as a medical necessity. Laws and changing traditions. Another surprise is that there is often no single national law requiring a 6-foot burial depth. Instead, local authorities and cemetery operators set guidelines based on soil, climate, and safety. The goal is to prevent odors, avoid surface collapse, and keep remains undisturbed, not to hit one exact number. At the same time, more people are choosing alternatives to traditional burial. Cremation has become very common in many countries. There are also options like natural woodland burials, burial at sea, and other eco-focused methods. As culture changes, so do end-of-life practices. People today often prioritize environmental impact, cost, and personal meaning over old traditions. So the phrase 6 feet under survived, even though the rule behind it mostly faded away. It began as a response to fear during a deadly plague. It sounded official, it spread through tradition, and it became part of everyday language. But in the real world, burial depth has always been shaped by practical limits, local conditions, and evolving knowledge. Today, it is guided more by science, land use, and environmental values than by a centuries-old number. 6 feet under may live on as a powerful expression. But when it comes to actual graves, history shows that the truth is a lot more flexible. And that is one more example of how a simple phrase can carry centuries of hidden history.